I have been overwhelmed. Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Today, let's do my May reading wrap up and my June hopefuls. I'm not gonna lie, May was kind of a hard month for me. I found myself in a slump. I read so many books from the end of April and beginning of May that were really good, and then I just hit a wall. I don't know what it was. I could not explain it. I struggled getting through books I was reading, even though I was enjoying them, and I just didn't know what to pick up. It felt very overwhelming. I was kind of down on myself because I really wanted to keep enjoying reading, but I was just having a hard time. I can't explain it. I don't really feel like I'm out of it yet, but I kind of overcame it throughout the month, so we'll see how June goes. But in May, I ended up reading 9 books. That is less than usual. I've been averaging about 12. It is what it is. I'm still ahead on my goal for the year, so I'm not upset about it. And I read some great books. So let me round up what I read. For physical books, I finished Out on a Limb. This was one of my Sisterhood of the Traveling books. I loved this story. It was so cute. It has an accidental pregnancy trope in it. And I found myself relating to this a lot because I'm living out an accidental pregnancy trope, and it was done really well. The story was just so stinking cute. I had such a great time with it. I gave this one 4 stars. I read Whispers of Dead Girls, and this was an arc. I had actually received the NetGalley arc, and then it was a Friday. I knew I was going to start a new book, and so that night I'd said, okay, I'm going to start this book on Friday night. And that day in the afternoon, I got the physical book from Source Books, so that was perfect. I was able to read both the physical and the ebook before it came out. I liked it. It actually was really fast-paced, I couldn't stop reading, but it wasn't the best thriller I've ever read. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I was sent a book from an author and her PR company that I ended up getting a book trophy for. The Tomorrows After You. This is a small-town romantic suspense from an indie author, and let me tell you, I loved it so much. I'm not even a person who tends to buy shelf trophies if I read an ebook or an audiobook, but this one I had to have. I just loved it so much. It really blended the romance and thriller aspects very well, and it was constantly moving. I didn't feel like there was any part of the story that was dragging. There was constantly something going on. It was just so beautiful. I cannot recommend this enough. For the last physical book I read, Broken Country. This was my local book club's pick for this month, and I loved it. I loved it so much. This is an historical fiction book that has some romance to it, some suspense to it. It just had everything I enjoyed in a book, and I devoured it. I actually tabbed it on my own. I normally only tab Sisterhood books, but I was really enjoying this one, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna highlight some things that really stick out to me. I loved it. This is a book I will definitely read again. 5 stars. I listened to one audiobook this month, The Lake of Lost Girls. This has a podcast element to it, so the audio was definitely the way to go. I was super intrigued. I really liked the story, and it was told in dual timelines, so that was really fun because one of the timelines was 90s. I love the 90s. So I really enjoyed this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I received the arc of Falling for Red. This is the 5th book in the High Five novella series from Serena Peer. This is a 4th of July romance one. It was so good. It was a little bit longer than some of the other ones in the series, but I enjoyed this one the most. I started at the St. Patrick's Day one, the Easter one, and now this one, and this one's been my favorite so far. The banter between the 2 characters was so good. I loved the summery 4th of July vibes. I ate it up. I read Death Row by Frida McFadden. This was the Amazon First Reads short story freebie in May, and I ate it up. It was so fun. I read it in a night. It's 70 something pages. It was just a good time. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was a blast. I also read Frida's new book, The Tenant, and this was also really good. Her last few releases, The Crash and The Boyfriend, they were okay. They weren't my favorite Frida books, but this one was a lot better, I will say. I was so captivated by this story. It was unhinged, and it gave all the like normal Frida vibes I get from other books. So I definitely recommend this one. If you've been staying away from some of her books because of the last two she's released, definitely pick this one up because I really enjoyed it. 4 stars. And last, another arc, I read The Ghostwriter. I love Julie Clark's writing. I've read 2 of her books other than this one and loved them. So I've had high hopes for this. The premise was really good, and there were a lot of things that were really good about this story. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, mostly because I had a hard time getting into it. Like, it felt like it took a long time to set up the story before we got to the really thrilling, mysterious part of the plot. And so it just kind of felt slow moving from the beginning, and I just struggled a little bit. But it was still good. I would still recommend it because I really enjoyed Julie Clark's writing. If you haven't read any of her other books, The Last Flight is one of my favorite thrillers ever. So definitely check her out. This is actually one of the Book of the Month picks for this month. So if you're interested in this book, definitely go with Book of the Month, especially if you don't have a subscription already. I have a code and I'll link it down below. You get your first book from Book of the Month for $5 with that code, so you could get this really stunning cover for just $5. You can't beat that. Now for my June hopefuls. I have been so overwhelmed lately with my books, which is not cool at all. Reading's supposed to be fun, and it's not felt fun in some ways. In a lot of ways it has, but I have discovered that I overcommit myself to arcs. I have a problem. I don't know how to stop. It's an issue. So I'm trying to like really be a lot more graceful with myself this month and not overcommit to books that I'm going to read. And that's gonna start with arcs because I don't know, I get most of my arcs through NetGalley, and I'm not gonna be so strict with getting them done before the publishing date. If I'm not feeling it, or if I'm not wanting to pick it up, that's okay. I can read it at some point. Truthfully, it doesn't matter when you read them to affect your NetGalley rating. At least I don't think so. So even if I'm reading other books that aren't coming out for a while, it'll still help boost my rating on NetGalley. I'm not too like worried about it anyway, but yeah. So that's my plan. I'm also not like planning out too many physical books or other books that I want to read. I really want to let the inner mood reader in me come out, because I think that's part of why I felt a little slumpy, because the whole year I felt really overcommitted to a lot of different things, and I'm a mood reader. So it's really hard. All that to say, my list for this month is much shorter, and I'm feeling really good about just enjoying this month. One book that I started, and I was really hoping to finish it by the end of the month, but it just didn't happen. A False Start. This is the 4th book in the Gold Rush Ranch series. I'm reading this with a big group of friends. We're doing our Elsie Silver journey, and I started it. I'm gonna finish it beginning of the month and get that done with, because this month we're starting the Chestnut Springs series. I'm so excited. I have been hearing about this series for so long. I cannot wait to dive in. So we're gonna be starting that. Another book that I started at the end of the month because I was craving a thriller, Whispers of the Lake, something like that. This is an arc that comes out at the end of this month. It's gonna be my first Shannara Williams book. I've heard so many good things about her. I think about 10%, 12% into the story so far, and I'm intrigued. I'm enjoying it. With June being Pride Month, I want to add some queer books to my TBR. So one that I definitely want to get to, because it's a sapphic romance, but it's also like springy vibes, kind of summery vibes, is Honey Witch. I love a cozy book, and I've heard such good things about this one. And then I have 2. I'm not sure which one I want to do. I have Delilah Green Doesn't Care, or When I Picture You. This one has been on my TBR for a long time, so hoping to get to this, but this one also looks really good too. This is actually a book I won in a Goodreads giveaway. It comes out in October, so I'll be reading one of these. I'll see which one strikes the mood. And then I have my local book clubs pick for this month, which is Great Big Beautiful Life. I'm so excited to read this. I have not read an Emily Henry book yet, and I've heard that this is kind of similar to Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I loved. So I'm excited to dive into this one. And our book club is actually, we picked 2 books this month, and the other one is Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies. We don't have to read both. We can read like one or the other, or both. I'm going to try to read both. but I'm not so sure. I'll definitely read Great Big Beautiful Life. That's for sure, because I'm so excited about that. So we'll see if I get to the other one. Most likely not, but whatever, it's fine. And that's it. I do have 2 arcs that both come out on June 10th. If I get to them, I get to them. If not, whatever. So that's only 6 books. So that's pretty good. If I can like get back in my groove of reading 12 books a month, that gives me 6 whole books that I can choose on my own. Makes me so happy. So hopefully I can just let my inner mood reader shine and tell me what I want to read and let the vibes bring me a good story. In the comments, let me know what your favorite read from May was and which book you're most looking forward to reading in June. Thanks for watching, friends. I'll see you next time.